Why does God allow suffering? One of the hardest questions people ask about faith is this. If God is loving and powerful, why does he allow suffering? The Bible does not ignore this question. Instead, it gives us a perspective that brings both comfort and purpose. 1. Suffering is part of a broken world. When God created the world, it was very good, Genesis 1:31. There was no sickness, pain, or death. But through sin, creation was broken. Paul writes in Romans 8:22, "The whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth." This means suffering is not God's design. It is the result of sin's corruption. Pain reminds us that the world is not as it should be. 2. God uses suffering to shape us. Though God does not delight in our pain, he often uses it for a higher purpose. Romans 5:3-4 says, "We glory in tribulations, knowing that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character. And character, hope. Like fire purifies gold, trials refine our faith. Sometimes we only learn patience, humility, or dependence on God when life presses us beyond our strength." 3. Suffering connects us to Christ. When we suffer, we are not alone. Jesus himself is called a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief, Isaiah 53:3. On the cross, he carried not only our sins but also our pain. Paul said in Philippians 3:10, "I want to know Christ, yes, to know the power of his resurrection and participation in his sufferings." This means suffering is not just random pain. It can become a place of deep fellowship with Christ. 4. Suffering awakens compassion. God often uses suffering to soften our hearts toward others. Those who have walked through loss are often the best comforters. 2 Corinthians 1:4 says, "God comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God." In this way, our pain can become someone else's healing. 5. Suffering reminds us of eternal hope. The Bible never promises a life free from trials. Instead, it promises victory beyond them. Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 4:17, "Our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." Suffering reminds us that this life is temporary and that heaven is our true home, where he will wipe every tear from their eyes. Revelation 21:4. So why does God allow suffering? Because we live in a broken world. Because he can use it to grow us. Because it draws us closer to Christ. Because it equips us to comfort others. Because it reminds us that eternal joy is coming. Beloved, suffering is not the end of your story. In God's hands, even your deepest pain can become the seed of something beautiful. One day, you will look back and see that nothing was wasted, and every tear had a purpose. If you are suffering today, remember, God has not abandoned you. He is with you in the fire, shaping you, comforting you, and preparing you for glory. Hold on to him, because the day is coming when pain will be